So, hello, good evening. Welcome to the Donny Chaingang with me, Matt Payne. It is Women Only Wednesday. It's January the 18th, and we're live on a multitude of channels tonight on the Full Speed Events channel, Donny Chaingang Facebook page, and of course on the Down in Cycling YouTube channel. We're all over the place, and hopefully you're going to retweet us, send us all over social media, send us viral. That'd be very nice. If you do so, make sure you get the good side. I don't know which side that is, probably the back side, to be fair. My name's Matt Payne. I'm going to be bringing you all the action. I'm joined tonight here by the person who stitches together the rides, plans the routes. Right is one of our regular beacons, of course, as well as being a multitude of other roles. In fact, let's leave it no longer to introduce to you Emma. Hello, Emma.
Good evening, everybody. Really good to be here tonight.
So our rider, racer, coach and DS. Tell everybody, what does DS stand for?
Oh, Director Sportif, yeah. Team time trials last night on ZRL. I know there's a number of riders tonight with tired legs after that who are looking for a bit of a spin and a bit of banter this evening because of the tough course they rode Magnificent 8 last night. And I was DS for the Chicas last night for the Ionian squad.
Indeed. And how did you get on? I know you're probably too embarrassed to mention it because it was probably last. How did you get on?
Oh, no, the Chicas took the win.
By much?
Well, they were down at halfway by 12 seconds, and in the end they took it by 7.
Oh, very nice. That's good. That's good. So
Yeah.
pulled it back at the end. Did you have to tell anybody off?
Did I have to tell anybody off?
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Oh, you've got them well drilled. Got them well drilled. That's what we like to see. So, well, thank you, everybody who's watching. Just got a message coming on the screen on one of the private messages saying, I'm glad you've had a shave, Matt. Yeah, I know. It is Velaskin month. So this is indeed the product of Velaskin. I need another shave on there, I must admit. But it is Velaskin month on here. And both Emma and I, of course, keen advocates of being able to sit comfy on the saddle when you're putting in those efforts. And Emma, of course, as a coach, the powers of things like the soothing gel and the warm-up balm. Emma, can you just give us a quick heads up in terms of what you're looking from our riders for?
Well, tonight we are going to roll out as normal, Matt. We're going to roll out and we're going to warm up. And we are in Paris. So we have a number of laps tonight. So I am expecting a nice warm-up. And then a move through, really ramping up that power. And then until we see the infamous go happen, and then it's a bit of a free-for-all. So once the pace gets hot, shall we say, find your group, stay with your group, work hard right the way through to the end, which is tonight's green sprint banner, and then warm down on the rest of the course.
Do you know, I should never let you get talking when we've got other things to talk about other than what you want people to do. Take us through the map, Em.
Yeah, so we are in Paris. We've got a lead in of 3.2k. We've got 5 laps at 6.6k, and then we've got that extra little bit because we finish at the green sprint banner. So the green sprint banner, 37.2k. And then there's a 2.8k warm down till you hit that blue event banner.
And this is slightly different to what a number of the members of the DCG gang will have. That was calculated to the orange banner, but we've changed up to the sprint banner, which is at the top of the hill. Let's show you what that looks like. Well, let's jump off our Zwift Hacks map and across to the Velo Viewer profile. And as you can see, the sprint at the top of that climb, it is a bit of a drag, isn't it? So that is going to be really, really key.
It is indeed a drag, but it's a nice drag, and it's one that you can still put the power down on.
Excellent. Now we have our beacons, a yellow beacon tonight, the one and only Jo Blackburn.
Yeah, she's gone off the front. She's shown us how to time trial. She's shown us all different tactics that she uses, but today she is yellow and she is in control.
Well, let's see how she gets on ramping this up and then letting this go. Our red beacon tonight, it is one and only
Maz Heffron.
Maz from the AEO race team, regular rider off-road for Zepna, as you can see, Nationals medalist, a regular rider who rips it up and races for the Ionian squad, if I remember correctly.
She does indeed, and she was indeed in one of the time trial squads last night.
Well, let's see how Maz's legs are going to be rolling. Let's jump across to our riders who are down on that start line. We are now kicking in. Let's see how these riders are going to go. So let's have a look. Let's see Who's going to be there now? Looks like Joe Blackburn not having yellow up above her head at the moment. Yeah, that's going to be very interesting indeed. It's not coming out on the screens either. So that is not what we wanted to see. We've definitely got a red beacon there. That is not good, but our riders underway. It looks like they're all going to have to watch that message board.
Yeah, they are indeed, aren't they? That's an interesting one. And we've got a red beacon, but not a yellow.
So our yellow beacon's going to need to keep doing the talking, as they would normally do. However, they are going to have to rely on people watching the messages on the left-hand side of their screen.
Yeah, they are indeed. So Joe not having the yellow beacon and not having the ability to message across the screen. So indeed, having to watch on the right-hand side of the screen for her messages on the chat.
Indeed, and I'm sure Joe will have this under control. Joe in the black kit here on what is a great bike for this course. Disc wheels, aero front wheel on there. And Joe in the black, our leader for tonight. We'll just leave that honour at the moment as the riders start to make their way up the climb. Does have yellow socks on, as she says, which is going to be of assistance on the way up through here.
Yeah, it is indeed, and you'll just have to look down and look behind you for those yellow socks.
Yeah, going to be very interesting indeed. Now, as our riders come out from the pens, we're just going to take a little bit of a run back through the group. It means our red beacon is going to have to do some serious work today. If you do get distance, don't forget, of course, if you're more than 30 seconds down on the group, the key is to jump out and jump back in again. Just seeing the late joiner just do that. Andrea's just coming in and joining. Now let's jump in with our red beacon. Our red beacon is Maz here. So Maz are going to be our red beacon. We should see a yellow one of those over. Joe, not happened tonight.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? And I'm thinking that's the first time that's happened, isn't it?
No.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Not in the long history of the Donny Chaingang. Way back, a long time ago, before in the midst of time, we once had no beacons whatsoever when it all went very wrong.
Well, it's quite funny because Maz actually messaged me to say, I can't see the red arrow over the top of me. Have I got a red beacon? And she has.
And Joe hasn't, so that's going to make things very entertaining.
Yeah.
So, quick reminder, guys, if you are not in with the group, jump out, jump back in. There is a 30-minute late join. You need to be up near the front. Jimenez and co are going to need to try and jump straight in if they've come out late. I think Maz's going to have to shake sticks a little bit if she's not going to get left behind completely by the group. Maz just distanced off the back, and to be honest, anybody behind Maz is not going to get on at this point. So I think Maz is going to be on the way up and through.
That's it, isn't it? And that red beacon just controlling and patrolling the back of that group, and just making sure that everybody is there and everybody is in place.
And interesting that we've got Nicholas Soden in here, the new tactic race team. Oh, I want that jumper.
Oh, that jersey is so cool.
It is an amazing, doesn't look like it's not great. It is an absolutely cracking jersey for Tactic. Some of my favourite riders actually signing for the Tactic team. And sponsored, of course, and looked after by OTE, who are one of the people who look after the gang. So let's see how she gets on tonight for that Tactic scheme. That tactic colour scheme. Abby Scales in with us. Good to have Abby back on the gang. So I've seen Abby on before. I think we've got Ammo White in here. Ammo joining in tonight. Because Ammo's in the orange and grey at the moment. So Ammo just rolling in and around. So Joe getting those messages out on the standard message board. Apologies for not having the yellow beacon above Joe. It means, Joe, you're going to have to do it all over again just so you get the yellow beacon.
The true experience.
The whole experience of being in charge.
She won't want to do it again because it's not... We'll have to twist her arm.
I'm sure we can manage that. And, of course, she's got to get that... dialed that, making sure that she keeps everybody together, ramps it up, doesn't drop too many people, gets the pace right, and hits the 3 Gs, 3 Os, all stitched together to make 3 times the same word, and you can work it out because we're not going to say the magic words.
No. But
Are we, Emma?
No, we are not. But as Joe has just mentioned, we've got a 3.2k lead in, so quite a long lead in tonight. And then 5 full laps of Paris, and that should then take us right the way through the end of the 5th lap, up the climb to the top of the green sprint banner, and that should finish us at about 37.2 kilometres tonight, and then a long warm down at 2.8 kilometres to the blue event banner.
Yep, so looks like Barnes at the moment pushes some big numbers here from the Alba race team.
Yeah, just trying
Nice
to get
revs.
back. Well, just trying to get back on there, but you're right, Matt. Really nice cadence, bringing up some really nice power to just close that gap down and to just catch back on. And she'll do that at that pace. That's not a problem whatsoever. She'll soon find herself on the back of that pack.
Indeed, and that is a serious move there by Barnes to get back on, and going to be back in with the group in no time at all. So great to see that we've got Daisy on the way in. If in doubt, shout. To get a little bit of assistance on the way through. The riders all know the score. They've all been here, and of course it's all here to look after everyone. Now let's have a look through some of our regulars. Looks like we have got the one and only Tracy Fletcher. Tracy in action at the National Championships. A number of riders ending their season. That clearly not Tracy either, though. She's just too addicted to riding the bike.
Well, you know, Wednesdays are 4, isn't it, at the WOW DCG?
A bit of everything.
Yeah.
That's what we like to see. Becky Porter-James on here. Becky, another of our regulars here. So Becky out and riding again. Another rider who's really improving and has to be watched out for now as we go all the way in to the finish. Good to see she's on board. Ursula Jordan's back in. I'm sure I've just seen her tucked into the group here. Yep, Ursula in the light grey and the pink kit. Very recognisable though on that blue bike as well. A pretty striking combination, which means easier to spot in the peloton. That's definitely the key. Let's have a little look. Laura Cheeseman just squeezing onto the front there. I think we've got Claire Crabtree back with us again. Claire, a regular rider. You can see Claire back racing in the fly shot and the cross as well. So definitely back and coming back into form.
Yeah, I'm interested in these bike choices tonight. No one has gone for a disc wheel tonight.
They have our yellow beacon.
Have you seen? Oh, she got. I haven't taken. I've obviously missed one because I would have gone for the disc wheel tonight. Yep, you're right. Indeed.
Oh, come on. This is
the setup I would have gone for. Joe Blackburn's setup would have been my choice.
Yep, so it would be mine if I'd have bought that particular disc wheel.
Have you not bought those disc wheels?
I haven't done it because I keep on spending my points on awesome bling instead of effective kit, which is a big mistake.
That wheel set. That wheel set is a must to spend your drops on.
Yeah, it's well, you know, I spend it on bling. I see a nice bit of kit, it's a shiny pair of wheels, new blingy frame. Tend to spend it on that rather than spending it on stuff that makes me go fast.
Looks over substance.
Never ever let speed get in the way of style. It's not a phrase that you've
heard it here first.
We will see. Let's have a little look. Who else have we got in here? We've got Halliwell in here, Jane Halliwell jumping in with the group. Emma Gilbert in with us again. Good to see you again, Emma. Emma, of course, a regular on the group, and you can just see the game just starting to stretch a little bit here. I think our beacon at the back, red beacon, just dropping to keep an eye on everybody on the way up this hill. You can do as many Ks and expend as much energy yo-yoing at the back as you can at the front, trying to bring everybody in and on board. And remember, of course, when we hit the line, this time at the green banner, that is going to be a number of laps to go. Emma, it's going to be
5
laps to go.
5 laps to go at this green banner.
Fantastic. Should we take a look at the green banner? There we go. That's the green banner. So 5 times around the circuit from here, and that will get us in and through the finish. It looks like Miss Cookie in and on the bike. Stood me up today, you know. Had a hot date with Miss Cookie. I did.
But look at that. She's on the bike and she's riding tonight. So
it's probably more important, let's face it.
And on a Tron bike tonight. So she's gone for the Tron. She's gone for the pink. You know, pink power under those wheels and matching socks.
Matching socks, always important, you see. Very important. Let's have a little check through the gang here. So it looks like we've got Claire Smith in with us. Claire choosing a nice set of aero wheels. They're lightweight frame as well, so that'll help on the way up the climb. Miss Cookie says she's missing me. Yeah, like a hole in the head. I will let you compare notes with how much Maz misses me at the side of the course, giving her lots of abuse. I guess we've got Lisa Jane late on here. Foxy, one of our regular beacons on here. Now, this is the ultimate in style and in speed as well. Love this combination. Got the full-on loud pink aero frame and foot with that lamprey inspired kit. Love this.
Now, I'd quite like that
really
in real
recognisable.
life.
So would I. I think it's really recognisable. It's oodles of style. Looks good. Have you seen the new Astana team bike, the Willia? Very nice. Very, very nice. Custom paint job. But it isn't. It's their standard production paint job. It looks amazing. GCN's voted hot bike of the, I don't know when. Looks good. And, of course, Mark Cavendish signing for them. We're going to see him on that as well. Very, very nice paint job on that. Absolutely super duper style. Super duper. It's a great phrase, super duper. I like it. Lots.
It is indeed looking all good today. Look at that bunch. That is a really nice, tight group of riders. A really nice, tight bunch there on that road.
So just in and watching ammo weight at the moment. 133 beats per minute. Who else raced last night? Not me. That's in DCG. So is this TIFF? It is. I was just waiting until we got the right riders in the right order to try and work out. We've got Tracy and Tiff Fletcher on board.
I think we've got Tracy and Tiff, haven't we? Because Tiff is in the blue, in the blue kit.
I'm loving it. Miss Cookie saying she felt like she raced last night. So, gang, look, do you know, the gang's rolling really nicely tonight. Look at that. It's rolling well. It's really, really tough. Tracy Seeley did the DCG last night. The Terminator 2.0 is tucked in here nicely, riding along. And I've got to say, Tracy was absolutely flying. Last night was one of the fastest, blisteringly quick DCGs for a while. We were back on Greater London Flat, a course that we use on the WOW DCG. And I tell you something, it was brutally quick, and it finished really fast as well.
Oh, it did indeed. It was Greater London Flat, wasn't it?
It was. It was Greater London Flat, and the whole bunch, I think, finished in something like about from red to yellow. Well, red to the very front because it wasn't a yellow win. I think it was only about 10 minutes. 10 minutes tops. It was incredibly fast.
Yeah, and I like in the fact that Tracy is decked in Rafa on Zwift on that bike, and often bedecked in real life. But
she does look very similar, the avatar, only you can't see the Coldster machinery and the the titanium pistons that are normally in action, being a Terminator, of course.
No, but interesting, Tracy, Carly Ibbotson was at the National Cyclocross at the weekend. I'm not sure, Carly, whether that was a bike race or whether that was a cross-country run by the look of it.
Well, I think the TV coverage was deceptive, and the reason I say that is because looking at some of the comments from Dave, the proportion generally, Dave's done some analysis, the organiser, and the riding proportion in terms of distance of the course was something around about 70% in most races. It dropped a little bit in some, it was higher in others. But, of course, in terms of time and TV time, TV cameras weren't focused on that bit because that wasn't as much fun from an outside perspective, and that makes a difference. And that's where they're on there. So let's have a look. You can see we've got Izzy Torrey on board. Izzy, of course, another of our regular riders. And I think Izzy as well riding for Tactic, if I remember rightly.
Yes, indeed. So Aoni on esports and Tactic on the road.
Another rider whose avatar looks scarily like their real life
I know.
person.
It's so true.
That's quite worrying. That is really quite worrying. It's like almost got a custom avatar. Interesting to see that we got Maz tucked in just making sure that Miss Cookie gets a little bit of assistance on the way through. Izzy in here. We've got Foxy, Laura Cheeseman on board. So our riders continuing to push. So what does a taco do? A tractor and a ghost. Tractor makes the cobble smooth and makes you go quicker for less effort. Ghost means you disappear and you become invisible. If you want to see how it's done, watch last night's Chaingang. Watch a certain Mr. Gareth Mason, who is also known as Ghost Mason, disappear and reappear and take the win. No spoilers, honest God, but it was utterly predictable what he was going to do, and he did it again on everybody. He absolutely pulls a blinder with them. I don't know how I'm sure he stuffs them up his sleeves. You know, like riders put gels in their shorts.
He puts ghosts
He
up his
puts
shorts.
ghosts in his shorts, on the leg of his short. You just took the gel in or in your back pocket. He hides ghosts in there and then pulls them out. He can't use, even though the moment he gets that power up, he can't just use any other power up for the rest of the ride, just so he's got it. Which doesn't surprise me, but he's so effective. He's such a strong sprinter. If he gets some march on people, gone. Absolutely gone. Ex-Welsh international rugby player.
There you go, lots of power. Huge amounts of power.
Yes, and that's just to move him along. He's a big lad. He's definitely a big lad. Absolute power sometimes is better than power to weight ratio.
I imagine it gives one heck of a kick.
It does, and the other thing, of course, it does do is it allows you to plough through the mud if you're riding on something like the National Cross Champs. Good to see we've got more riders in here as well. Got one or two new riders in here. Laura Pieroni coming through. So Laura tucked in nicely in with this group, which is holding that pace. Looks like Abby Scales just distance a little bit here. Abby's going to have to make a little bit of a call. Is she going to try and chase back on again, or is she going to drop back? It looks like the bus has formed. It's a little bit further back. So Maz and Miss Cookie, they're not very talkative tonight.
Well, could you imagine riding with those two in real life?
You wouldn't get a word in edgeways.
No,
I'm quite enjoying this.
It would be
actually.
such a banter bus, it'd be amazing.
I tell you what, yeah, apart from the fact that both of them would probably try and wipe me out somewhere en route.
Well, they are both amazingly great technical mountain bike riders, both of them.
They are. The pair of them on a mountain bike ride would be quite scary. Remind me not to go on that and embarrass myself. A lot. Actually, that's not quite true. It'd be very, very fun. Miss Cookie's companion isn't working tonight. That's because she didn't come over here and get your tech sorted. That'll teach you. Not bitter much. Stand me up on a date. I don't know. Then Maz Heffron. We'll get some rumours going. Why not? Then Maz, of course, tucked in here, concentrating on getting everybody on the way up. Tech issues everywhere tonight. Indeed, you don't want to see the steam that was coming out of here with about 20 minutes to go. It would probably be no word of a lie to say that we didn't have even a light switched on at 20 minutes to go. Might have been sorting a few other things. Interesting, a few people getting the tacos. Now, tacos are a nasty power-up. And we did take them out, and they've crept back in again. Not because we've asked for them back, but they've just reappeared.
Are they tacos or are they burritos?
They're burritos, actually, technically. So they're technically a burrito. And the burrito, what it does, it kills the draft around you, doesn't it?
It does indeed.
And that's not good unless you're racing, being mean, or you're trying to get rid of it at a point where it's not going to affect everybody else.
Well, you can actually put it in the bin. You don't actually have to use it.
So tell us, how do you put something in the bin on a bike?
So if you pull up the bar at the bottom of your screen with all the actions on it, on the right-hand side of that bar, if you scroll, you will find a dustbin. You only have it if you've actually got a power-up.
No, which we don't.
Which we don't have. So
That's
if you've got a power-up, there will be a dustbin. And if you press the dustbin, your power-up will drop into that dustbin and you don't use it.
Okay. Very handy for not hurting people in a team time trial.
So if you want to, yeah, exactly. So if you're on a course where perhaps you would get 5 power-ups on a lap, and you get a power-up that you're not going to need, but actually you get another opportunity to get a feather, for example, before you get to the climb, you bin your burrito and cross your fingers and hope you don't get another one when you get to the next power-up.
I once managed to get 8 burritos in a row.
Oh, God.
on a 10-lap Crit City race. I was the least popular man on Zwift that day, and I wasn't binning them. I was using them offensively, I must admit, unlike the last time I was riding, which was, I think, Tuesday, where I think every single power-up I got, that was absolutely using them defensively. It was, oh, I've got a draft. Where do I need it? I've got to use it here. It really was like that.
Yeah. So indeed, use your dustbins for your power-ups.
Yep. Dustbins are for power-ups you don't want. I need every single one I can get usually on the ride. It has to be said. We just wish we could have them in real life. Out on the road or on the mountain bike or the track. Joanne Lee bins more power-ups than she uses. Joe, really? I always use them. Always use them. If it's a draft, just to take a break. Aero, if I'm just helping out a bit on the front. Tractors always get used on stuff. Maybe that's because I'm a really heavy unit, or because I ride a lot of Zwift routes that are involve cobbles or dirt or rough surfaces, which is really weird because I actually really love riding my road bike on smooth tarmac with the odd mat track thrown in.
Well, there's always a mat track thrown in. Anybody goes out on a road ride with mat in real life, just be aware that you won't always be on the road.
With one exception. And that is when I fit my spangly new shiny carbon wheels. Hang on a minute, let's just see if we can get this. That's the spokes on my new carbon wheels. There you go. It's not playing a harp. And if that happens, there is no going off-road on this. It's there for French tarmac only.
Excellent. Put
Not
them
for
on
the Champs-Élysées. Not for the Champs-Élysées, that's for sure. Okay, so through the green banner, 4 laps to go. Four laps to go. 4 laps to go, everybody.
It is indeed. So 4 laps at that green banner as we come up and we top and we start to head.
Jolie's got another burrito. How'd she do it? Do you know, it's making me hungry. I love burritos. High on my... In fact, they might be one of, if not my favourite food. Although I do say that about a lot of things, including pizzas, burrito. What does the burrito do?
It knocks the draft off of the people around you, so people don't draft.
So they get no draft benefit, not just from you, but from anybody as well. So they can't, it's not that they can't just draft you, they can't draft anyone, anywhere around you. It's mean. Let's have a look. Binned it. There you go.
Oh,
already.
someone has used one, whereas Joanne has binned it.
Hunting. Who's got it? Can we find out who's got it before it disappears?
No.
No. Didn't get there. Well, pace picking up, dropping down. This group looking good on the way down here.
Yeah, they are moving well, aren't they, Matt?
Joe
They're
Blackburn,
moving
that
well
is an
together.
evil power up the burrito. Yes, it is. That's why I really like it. It is really good. It plays well. And I have to say, we have more power-ups actually on the WOW DCG than we have on the DCG usually. That's partly just due to me not typing things in the computer when we put the rides together. But it is also because generally there is a slight difference in how the ride plays out on the way through. They do ride very differently, the WOW DCG and the DCG. And I love the difference. It's a definite embrace of differences because they both do different things, and I'm sure Tracy Seeley will attest to the fact that they both have benefits in different ways. And I guess if you're looking just to buy a lot, that's really good. Maz has no stats on her screen at all. That's...
Oh, she's pressed a key.
H.
Yeah, press the H key, Matt, and Maz, and they should come back.
Yep. Screen's on and off. H. You ready? H. And H again. And then H. And H again. After me, press H. And H again. There you go. Starts coming backwards.
Let us know if that works, Maz.
We will see. Press the H button. Right. Cookie and Maz on the bus. Group all together. Good to see Fiona Booker in here.
Yeah, Fiona's been on quite a lot on a Wednesday night, which is really nice to see. And Ammo Waite is on tonight as well. First time for her. Been riding quite a lot with Fiona over the Christmas period, I believe.
And Greg as well has rides and annihilates people on the Donny Chaingang and DCG on a Tuesday and Thursday as well. So good to see the Bookers back with us.
Yeah, but Greg was really on form, wasn't he, winning the Monsell Hill Climb this year?
Greg, absolute machine. Honestly, he's just scary person to watch in action. But his results on the DCG on a Tuesday, Thursday, not reflective of his ability.
Well, Fiona and Ammo, again, we've got some class mountain bikers on here tonight, you know.
I know, we're not on a mountain bike route. Maybe there needs to be a mountain bike route. The only thing with the mountain bike on Zwift is it's a slow ride. You put loads of power out and go nowhere fast. Bit like riding off-road around the Peak District at the moment. You've got to have like 2,000 watt peak power and go nowhere.
I hope, Maz, you're not calling Matt a genius because of the H button. I hope that's a comment about something else.
We will see. Quick heads up. If you are watching on YouTube and you are more than about 5 seconds behind, if you press refresh, it will bring you back to live. There is also a live button on the side. Well worth pressing. The maximum you should be behind is about 6-7 seconds. Generally, most people can get it down to 2. There you go. Maz says it works, which is brilliant. Genius, thank you. Very rarely get called that.
It's like using the number 6 button, isn't it, that gives you the view behind you. I really like the 6 and the 2.
6 and 2. Yeah, that's also equals helicopter shot, which is 8.
Yep.
There you go. It's really interesting, actually, because the even numbers are more useful than the odd numbers.
Okay. I tend not to use the odd numbers. 2 and 6, particularly in a team time trial, I really like 2 and 6 because you can see the entire group that you're riding with, which is really good.
Well, I always find, well, one is just weird. 3's even worse because that's like first person. So you can't see the actual avatar that you're riding. 5's about as much use as a chocolate teapot unless you're solo. 7 is, of course, the floating camera shot, but no good if you're actually riding. It's great for me. And 9 is the overhead cable cam, which is great for sprints if you want to see where you are in that sprint. Whereas 2, standard view that most people have, it's good. 4, looking from the side, dead handy. 6, even better on the way through. 8, helicopter shot. And 0 is your drone cam. And I wish I'd pressed the H button just then. I don't know. So rude.
Made me laugh, though.
I don't know.
This is a really nice pack tonight, Matt. Look at that. The formation of the group is really strong. You know, it's wide, indicating everyone's riding really comfortably together. There's a large group of riders all together, and it's rolling really well. Look at that. It's rolling just shy of 35 kph on this course, and things seem to be going well. We are 15.5 kilometres in now, and 28 minutes coming up on the clock.
It is indeed, and the speed ticking along nicely. There's been a call to put it to 2.5 watts per kilo, which is being followed. Nobody taking a flyer off the front. Do you know? No need for the mothers. And do you know what? The bus is rolling nicely as well. I love it when the bus rolls well. Bus is rolling.
Yeah.
2 really nice people on there. Well, okay, Miss Cookie and Maz.
Yeah,
and somebody in there after that coming.
No. So yeah, you're right indeed. You know.
Go on, Abby. Big push to the push to the front now. Come on.
Yeah, and a nice pace on that bus as well.
Yeah, it's rolling okay. Joe, I love the fact that Joe makes a great yellow bee. Do you know why? Because she can type at like 6 watts per kilo probably. Well, it's going on the front there.
We'll check that out later, shall we?
Yeah, no pressure.
Hopefully everybody's legs are feeling good, and anybody who had tired legs after yesterday, they're feeling a lot better, a lot fresher, because they've just really warmed up well now.
So, one of the things we do say is that being Yellow Beacon is worth about 15 to 20 beats, or about 50 watts-ish. or about 5 kilos, depending on which measurement of performance you've got. That's the kind of performance level it takes. Really is hard. So let's see whether or not we're going to get that kind of performance. Interesting to see new personal records coming up here. Snowy confetti once again.
Yeah, the lap times are getting quicker and quicker as this is starting to wind up now. And that's what will happen is if Joe calls for another lift in pace, we'll see a faster lap again. And we should see a lot more confetti each time our riders come under that lap banner now.
Well, I was just taking a little look on the confetti rain down there on Carly as it comes through. 80 revs per minute, 135 beats per minute. Clearly not feeling the after effects of national champs too badly at all there.
Yeah, so looking really comfortable actually, isn't she? And I think we've got quite a few riders in here at the moment for whom this is still quite comfortable. Now that's a phrase I like, watch the socks. That's so cool.
Nothing wrong with sock watching. I was doing that on Friday, watching my regular training partner's socks and rear hub and making sure that they never disappeared out of sight because I was never going to see them again. Has to be said. It was tough stuff out there.
Yeah, so these riders are coming up this section again, coming up for that green banner, and that green banner is going to take us to 3 laps to go. Do you know, one of the things when I'm riding around on this course in Paris is I keep looking out for where you can see the Eiffel Tower.
Because the Eiffel Tower, contrary to what a lot of people would think, is not actually very near.
No, it's not, and there's only certain places on this course that you can glimpse it in the distance.
Yeah, mostly from the Tuileries Gardens and across the bridge. Actually commentated on a race from directly across the bridge from the Arc de Triomphe in the Trocadero Gardens, and that was the XCE World Cup, the cross-country eliminator mountain bike from Paris, and that was actually in the Trocadero Gardens, which is the park directly opposite the tower.
It is indeed, isn't it? And that really was quite amazing because some of those ramps and walkway sections were really used very well in that event. So if anybody did want to look at the centre of Paris whilst a mountain bike race is going on, that is a really good one to look at.
And loads of very quick racing on the way through as well. That was great to see.
And just also highlighting that pace of that peloton has picked up here because we've just had a whole load of confetti going through that sprint section too.
And that means we have how many laps to go over?
3.
3. Is that a squeaky 3?
That was a squeaky 3. I'll adjust my tone.
I thought I managed to do that with the knobs and faders. So our ride just making its way around the top section here. It looks like just 1 or 2 people just starting to feel that pace. It's going to take a little bit of a look as another one of our riders just distanced here. That is going to be Anita. So Anita now, don't worry, the bus is behind. It will come and grab you. We've started to see people. Joe asking for 3 watts per kilo now. Starting to get very interesting, the ramps as the season progresses, Emma, and we're seeing more and more pushes by the riders and more pushing from the ride leaders as well.
Yeah, and you know, all part and parcel of the WOW DCG, you know, a controlled workout until that gun lets it go. And we offered different courses, different aspects, and as the season's progressed, we are starting to see more ramping going on in terms of that pace and calls for that pace to shift earlier. And, that's about, week in, week out, getting fitter, riding with the gang, utilising that ramp and putting in some effort.
So in with the Terminator, in with Tracy. A rider who knows exactly how this is going to work. Looking good at the moment, just on this descent. 131 beats per minute, 81 revs per minute. Looks like Joe managing to keep control despite the lack of a yellow beacon over the top. People responding, and great to see that. We were without a red beacon actually on our DCG last night, and Carl, get well soon, mate. Carl able to take up those duties, so best wishes to Carl. Carl, recover fast, take your time about it, and make sure you're back and rolling before you jump back on. We want to make sure that everybody is going well, and nobody puts himself under undue pressure to come up on to the Chaingang. Well, this gang, the pace lifting, the riders starting to feel that pressure. Just seeing Abiska still jumped back in here. Blobtastic, says Tracy Seeley.
Yeah, it seriously is, isn't it, at the moment? It
Whole
really
new
is.
vocabulary.
One big blob. Yeah.
It is. It's very sticky. It's not going anywhere fast. It's kind of, you can just see it stretches under gravity every now and then. You just see the little tails, the blob start to form, and it all goes back together as it just blobs up, it goes down, and then, eventually splat, of course, when that trigger is pulled.
Well, I quite like Joanne Lee, cosy. Yeah, it is quite cosy. It would be quite a cosy bunch, wouldn't it? But, it's not slow, Matt. Those riders are riding at the moment. That pack is rolling just shy of 40 kph, so it's definitely not slow. This is one of those courses that rides really quick because the pace can be kept really high, even if you're holding the watts per kilo steady. Saving on the heating, Tracy. That's really funny. Only thinking because my turbo's set up in the garage, and I don't know about saving on the heating out there. It's about 3 degrees.
I went out in there yesterday. Actually, I was out in the in Nick Demmer's turbo trainer, and jumped on. Used to be on bike, obviously. And I have to say, I've got to admit, it's the first time I think for a long time I've left the heater on in there whilst I was actually riding.
Yeah, I'd have gloves on as well, and I probably wouldn't have taken my warm-up jersey off yet, and I definitely wouldn't have the fan on at the moment.
Oh, I definitely needed that by the end of it. Tour de Swift, of course, starting, and we are expecting to see the new latest world being launched. That's going to be Glasgow, the next world that comes to tie in with the All-World Championships, and that's pretty much all cycling. It's very few cycling disciplines missing. We're going to have para track, para road, road, track, mountain bike cross country, mountain bike marathon, mountain bike downhill. We're going to see BMX urban, so that is BMX freestyle, BMX flatland. We're going to see indoor cycling, which is artistic cycling, and cycle football. We are also going to see the Gran Fondo Championships. Have I missed anybody out on the way through? Not sure, maybe I have.
I don't know whether you've missed anybody out, but I think it would be really great to see some of the cycling disciplines, some of the World Championships that we don't normally think about tuning in for. The artistic cycling and the cycling football are two amazing World Championships that if you've never seen before are really worth a watch.
Yeah, jump onto the YouTube channel for the UCI and you'll be able to watch the highlights from last year's World Championships. Great fight, great semis and great finals in there, and looking to have the company for Hans Peter for the commentary for that, and Hans Peter absolutely happy. Oh, what that man doesn't know about cycle football. A great competitor in his own right now, coach, but great to have him on there. And of course the artistic cycling, the Act 4 and the Act 2, the artistic cycling, brilliant to see.
Well, cycling football, using a football and playing football with the kids coaching is one thing, but actually watching them do it professionally is another.
Definitely very, very interesting to see. Now, we've got Karen Brooks tucked in here, of course the Fear Squad in here. Just love this kit. Guys, send me over the code. Let me have this. I really, really love it. I want this kit. Of all the kit tonight, am I allowed to say I absolutely love this? This is just amazing kit. It is about as subtle as a sledgehammer.
Yeah, well,
but
as subtle
brilliant.
as a sledgehammer, we've just had a call to go to 3.5 watts per kilo. So the yellow beacon makes the call to lift the pace once more.
So here we go. We're going to be heading into the climb at that higher pace as well.
You know, this group are working really well together. You know, the call to lift the pace to 3.5 watts per kilo. The group are still running well, and the pace is still really high.
It is. It's just moving very, very quickly indeed. Very impressed. So underneath the orange banner, another chance to pick up the power-ups on the way through.
Yeah, it is indeed.
Group
And,
thinning out a little bit, but plenty more personal records as well, which is always good to see. A sign of a great ramp is that our riders keep on repeatedly getting new power-up, new and better personal records. Seeing that confetti come down, a surefire sign that we're getting quicker and quicker. Always interesting to see what happens once that trigger is pulled, once the pin is taken out and the explosive lobbed into the middle of the group, whether that continues. Interesting to see, we've seen quite a few of the rollers going in here. Very useful to use on this terrain.
yeah, and they last 30 seconds as well, whereas most of the power-ups only last 15. So an absolute godsend if you're racing and requiring one on a dirt section, for example, because they make a massive difference.
They do indeed. So next rider just being distanced a little bit, Carly Pastore here. Got good company because looks like Laura Pieroni going to be just behind. So Pieroni are now just starting to be distant, as is Pastore. And guys, just keep pedaling. This is key. Get together. There's only a second between these two riders. If they can work together, they are going to minimise the distance they lose to the main group, and there will be more riders coming backwards because, of course, the further into the ride we go, generally the more destructive the disintegration that we see when that trigger's pulled.
That's it, and it is about finding your own group, finding the pace, finding your group, and working together, whatever group you are in, whether you're at the front or whether you're in the red bus or somewhere in between. This is a ride about finding the group that works for you and working together.
So just in with Foxy, 135 beats a minute, 75 revs a minute. Interesting, just ticking those revs around, not crazy pace. Watching Titch at the moment, that is Tracy Fletcher. I can guarantee she's doing more revs. Absolutely smooth as silk, Tracy on the bike. Always good to see. Look at that, 90 revs per minute, just smoothly ticking those revs around.
Yeah, and it's interesting, isn't it? The different cadences and the different riding styles of different riders, but still looking at some of these heart rates at the moment, and they're still looking quite comfortable.
I wouldn't disagree. Not at all. And remember, of course, it is variable between the riders as well. But you can just see a few people just maybe feeling the pressure at the back here. We're just starting to see it string out. Remember that we came onto this at 3 watts per kilo, and this is where you really want to have that great use there by Joanne Lee of that steamroller, saving it until we were coming up over the top. And the go has gone. It's go time. Here we go. All of the limiters are off. There is no limit to what you can put out. You are just going to have to get to the finish as fast as you can. So the trigger is pulled. The go has gone. This is the point at which we see what our riders are made of.
Yeah, and they've got 2 laps to go, Matt, as those fire socks light up the road, and Jordan pushes on there with a small group. We've got Jones and Blackburn, Jordan and Torrey in that group, and look how strung out that pack is now.
Well, look at this. Vicky Jones, one of our regulars on the gang, winding it up here. So this is it. Go, go, go is on. This is all about who's got that power and pace to stay with the riders. And you can see the fire socks really lighting up. Emma, what does it indicate?
What does it indicate? It indicates you're at level 50. When you get to level 50, you have the option of buying some fire socks.
And it's just for showing off, isn't it, really? Don't make you go any quicker.
Doesn't make you go any quicker, but it is quite cool when you put some power down.
Hey, and we shouldn't really underestimate the feel-good factor about making you go fast.
No, because mental attitude impacts on physiology, and physiology is about effort.
Spot the professor sat in the other side of the studio. Right, should we get back to the racing? Never mind the coaching. Right, it's up and away are the gang. Look at this, I tell you something, this group has got Vicky Morgan on the front, Claire Crabtree in here. Looks like we've got Daisy Barnes in as well, Claire Smith in here, and they are trying to make contact here. And look at the power that's coming down from Morgan at the moment. And they're really trying to wind themselves up into this group. Can they make it? It's worth the kick if they can make contact. This could save them a whole lot of effort, and Smith, Crabtree and Scales at the moment are the riders that are going to benefit from this, but they're going to have to give her a turn, I think, here, because Morgan can't do this on her own.
But it's only 2 seconds, the gap to that group now, and do you know what? It's within touching distance, the back of that group, but they're a little spread all over the road at the moment, and they need to do an almost team time trial effort. They need to through and off to make sure that pace stays high, or that 2 second gap will stay at 2 seconds, and they won't bring it in.
So sitting behind a rider, behind the 4th rider, Emma, what's the percentage you're going to save roughly?
Well, quite significant. So if you're putting out 3.5 on the front, the rider in second could be quite comfortably sat at 3. The rider at the back could be sat at 2.5. So really comfortable. But at this effort, they really need to take that toe, and they need to take big turns on the front, because that gap has now gone out to 3 seconds. So they really need to put in a concerted effort.
Take a big turn. Take some serious rest, take another big turn.
Exactly.
You've got to dig deep here. If you're going to push on, you can see that the group in front, it's not broken up at the moment, but there's a clear air in between, and this is making it tough for those 4 behind.
Yeah, it is indeed, but they found a group, Matt. They found a group, and they're working together, and they are working together well, and it's hard. It's 3 seconds, it's still dangling. And Crabtree,
so
look at that, 4.15 watts per kilo, trying to close this down. That is some serious work being done, but it's just hanging at 3 seconds.
And we know Claire Crabtree, a real class act on the bike, looking very, very powerful. Whether Claire can get back across, and we've seen big digs by all the riders, but they've got to really push it. It is so tough. And they've got to take this in turns. If they don't take it in turns, it won't come down. You can just see it's hovering. This pack, though, they have the advantage. They need to do less turns on the front. Yeah,
and there is an advantage in the numbers as well. 4 riders versus 20-something riders, which is pretty much the side of this pack. It's got to be about 20 riders in that pack. And 4 riders can work hard, but they just don't have the benefit of being able to hide and take as much rest as these riders in here.
Indeed, and it's indeed close to 20 riders, 17 riders I make it in this pack at the moment, and you can see that it's doing the damage. This group is now being distanced a little bit. They now need to sit and work together. They've got a little bit of a gap here on Daisy Barnes, who's just behind, who has immediately behind Pip Morn. Pip, another of our regulars on the Chaingang, and good to see Pip in action. Pip, of course, running up and down and racing around behind Amy Moore, who had a rather good season. Saw her in action at Clanfield, looking good on the bike as well. One of the pretty short one, either Shipton or the RFDA squad. Have to put my brain into gear to remember which. Could be either, to be honest, but based in Yorkshire. So just at the moment, that gap back to Porter James. Then it's been Michelle Ross with Porter James. Then it's Laura Cheeseman a little bit further behind. Then it's Pastore with Pieroni. Then Hoglinger. Then it's going to be our Red Beacon group at the moment. Right up at the front, though, you can see they've got Halliwell stuck in to this group. So Jane Halliwell in here. Tiff Fletcher, Fiona Booker, Emma Gilbert, Ursula Jordan. Tracy the Terminator, Lindsay Clark in here, Izzy Torrey, Lisa Elliott, Vicky Jones, Nicola Soden, Carly Ibbotson, Karen Brooks, Joe Blackburn, Joe Lee in here as well. I think that covers all 17. Famous last words. Dangerous thing to say. Well, at the moment, that group is looking good. Let's see what's going to happen. Are we going to see another aggressive move up on to the climb, or are we going to see a 17 up sprint? Remember, when we hit the green banner, it will be 1 lap to go. When we hit the green banner, it is 1 lap to go. So the group working well. The Terminator tucked inside. That'll be a win for the Tactic race team. Be interesting to see now. Chases on behind. We've got Barnes and Mom, Michelle Ross, Becky Porter, James, Laura Cheeseman, Nicole, all chasing that lead in the group. This foursome, they need to keep the wits about them because Barnes and Morn are very experienced. They know exactly what they're doing, and they didn't necessarily put themselves maybe quite as far in the red earlier on. So that's going to be very telling as they chase. They chase really hard. The guys were digging so deep there. Will it be to their detriment when you've got Barnes and Morn working well behind? Through the line they go, and there's been a move on the front, hasn't there? Looks like they've seen another dig up off the front.
Yeah, so digs on the front coming now. In fact, it's our yellow beacon. Those yellow socks have pushed on, and Blackburn's putting out 5 watts per kilo. You know, this is the climb coming up to the banner, which will signify 1 lap to go. Izzy Torrey has gone, and Tracy Seeley is at the front of that bunch with Tiff Fletcher. Oh no, Tiff can put in some massive power and has got a phenomenal sprint on her, which we've seen her use to close gaps before. But the front of that pack have let these two go. There's a 4-second gap now back to the group, but let's take a look and see if we can't get this group to work together to close that gap down.
Well, they've got the numerical advantage. They could start to close down on Izzy Torrey and Joe Blackburn. Remember, Izzy Torrey and Joe Blackburn, we've seen them fighting it out time and time again. Really great battle. I mean, 2 fantastic hill climbers as well. Bear in mind, you've got riders who can go out and put in top-class hill climb performances. It gives them great power to weight ratios, but not necessarily able to out-drag strip a bunch.
Well, we've also seen the likes of Joe Blackburn put in outstanding time trial performances. She's currently sat at 6 watts per kilo, you know, and she's capable of holding that for some time as we see her push on. She's got Torrey for company, 10 seconds back now to Seeley and Soden and Fletcher. Lisa Jane Late is there as well, but there's a little gap back now, so it's looking like we've now got 3 groups on the road.
Indeed, so a pair of riders up the road, 16 seconds in front of this group, and then 5 seconds in front is a triumvirate of talent, quote Hugh Porterism, and that is Soden Fletcher, along with the Terminator Seeley. So looks like Tiff, Tracy and Nicola, those are our 3 riders chasing Izzy and Joe. Behind them it's going to be Tracy, who is on there. Tracy probably not wanting to let Tiff off down the road. I'm sure there's a pair of them very competitive on the bike. Can you imagine being out on a training road with those 2?
Oh, goodness me, but we've got 1 lap to go, Matt. We are on the last lap now, with that green sprint banner being the finish next time round.
So here we go. You can see Joe Blackburn is in action. We maybe need to bring back Millie Skinner. Millie was riding on the DCG for the first time for a while. Yesterday, Millie finished with the lead group.
Yeah.
Literally with the top 14 riders on DCG. And not only did she finish with them, she gave them a hard time as well, as you'd expect from Millie. Regular, you know, Killer Skinner was a nickname for a reason.
But Millie has come on leaps and bounds in the last few years, but Joe is giving us a demonstration here. Tori is at 12 seconds, but we've got a bit of a lift of some pace behind as we're starting to see some of the action off the front of that group, because they don't want to take such a big group in. I think we've got...
We've got it's a train, but I don't think it's a choo-choo train.
No, it isn't indeed, but we've got Fletcher's sitting in there now at the moment. We've seen some big orange numbers come out, but we've seen some sitting up happen again now. So Blackburn out in front of Torrey. Then we've got Tracy, we've got Soden, we've got Fletcher. Then we've got a 4-second gap back to the main group, and that's got Booker, Gilbert, Ibbotson in. It's got Tracy Fletcher in it as well.
Tell you something, this group could pull the trio in front back. I think they're going to have to admit that Blackburn at 31 seconds is a rider too far. Joe Blackburn absolutely powering around here. A rider who, I'll tell you something, I'd love to go for a ride. I've always said this with anybody who's on a DCG, always going to be great. Up for going for a ride. Might have to have a reservation that we take a bungee cord if we take Joe, because the speed that she just goes clear and absolutely nails it. And I don't think I can even hide behind it, to be honest, and just sit on a wheel.
But she doesn't go clear off a sprint, Matt, and I think that's what's really, really interesting with Blackburn. She doesn't go clear off a sprint. She doesn't hit 10, 12, 13 watts per kilo to go clear of the bunch. She pushes on, and she uses her 3 to 5 minute power to do so. You know, she pushes on at 5.5, 6 watts per kilo, and she holds that for 3, 4, 5 minutes.
Well, look at this. Just going to get our helicopter back up to witness the absorption of the 3 riders who'd gone clear by the chasing group behind. You can see them clamped together. That is one complete group now who are in that pack, and you could just see that coming together there. And so we just held it on there. The riders, though, looking like they are now one big chasing group. This is the second group on the road, and they need to work. If they can work together, they have a target up in front. Sorry, Izzy, but it is going to be Izzy Torrey who is in their sights. And we're just trying to see if we can see them in camera shot. We can't quite see them in camera shot. Down the road, you've got Joe Blackburn as imperious as ever, looking like another rider who can see it move upwards. Remember, of course, we've seen riders come along and take away things like pro contracts riding on here and on the Chaingang.
Yeah, but that pack, Matt, needs to work really hard, and currently at the front someone's riding at 1.1 watts per kilo. This group needs to be pulling on the front at 4s to even attempt to catch Tori and bring her back in.
Yeah, Izzy Torrey has the pace and the ability to stay clear, and this group can't afford to carry passengers. So if somebody's sitting in here thinking, I'll just save it for the sprint, I'm going to save it for the sprint up to the top of the hill, they're going to be in trouble. They are really, really, really going to be in trouble. And that is because they are not going to be able to pull back that second place, which at the moment belongs to Izzy Torrey. I tell you something, the side of the Tuileries Gardens alongside the Seine here is going to be interminable for Torrey. You can see the pack behind. She'll know exactly how far they are. She'll have that time gap coming up on the bottom of the screen, and she will know that they are chasing. Can they close that gap down? That's a big ask. And I'll tell you something, Izzy is not losing too much ground to Joe Blackburn, because I think Joe has been a little careful about this. She's sitting sub 6 at the moment. She's got that gap and she's opened it up, and I think Joe just been a little bit more circumspect than normal, knowing that she's got the gap there, just keeping an eye on what's going on behind.
Yeah, and Tori is watching it as well, because that group are not catching her. Izzy had pushed on, hadn't she? And now she's sat up a little bit, but she's pushing again. She's taking little micro rests where she can, but that gap is hanging at 10 seconds, and no one really seems to have got a coordinated effort from this group at the moment, so I don't think they're going to catch her.
Well, the message board is quiet as well, and that's the other thing, that's the problem, is that if nobody puts calls out, we saw 1 or 2 calls, but if people don't engage on that message board, which is so difficult to do when you are going absolutely flat out up through the underpass and onto this little drag strip climb here, then you just can't get it together, and it causes that little bit of disruption in there. So just seeing Tracy Seeley again going on the front, the Terminator taking multiple turns here, trying to close that gap down to Izzy Torrey, who's at 8 seconds now. Blackburn is 32 seconds further up the road, and it's 40 seconds in total back to the group that contains Carly Ibbotson, Joanne Lee, Karen Brooks in there, Fiona Booker, Nicholas Soden, Lisa Jane Light in here, Ursula Jordan in here as well. I mean, Vicky Jones is tucked in. We saw Vicky really strong on that push-up over the top of the Arc de Triomphe. Lindsay Clark in this group as well in the grey with the red and black. Really great riding here.
Yeah, but 7 seconds now to Torrey. They are pulling her back, but they are pulling her back so slowly as Torrey pushes on at 6 watts per kilo. But the group behind, the effort is still not as coordinated as it needs to be. We need some bigger pulls on the front if they think they are going to bring them back.
Well, Blackburn continuing to stretch out on Torrey. Torrey being closed down slowly but surely in this group, and now starting to wind up, and it's inevitable as you start coming in towards the finish that you're going to start to see a little bit bigger kick. Now it's Fletcher who's doing the work on the front and taking a big turn here to try and pull this group back down again. Can she do it? She's going to have to do a turn and jump back off again. And Torrey's trying to respond to this, but it's now at 5 seconds with Blackburn. Yellow beacon down the road, those yellow socks flashing. She's already through the lap banner. She's on her way up onto the climb now. You can see the orange banner in the distance that Torrey is approaching. Behind Torrey, it's a bit like Jaws, isn't it? We want that.
It is indeed. 4 seconds now, just tipping to 3. They've under the orange banner. They've got just over a kilometre to get to the green sprint banner. The green sprint banner is the finish tonight.
So here we go. This is the run for the green. There's everybody and everyone just calling for it. They are absolutely in pieces here. You can see everybody chasing. They've got to remember, you've got Blackburn down the road. She's taken the orange jersey overall as the fastest rider on this course tonight. And you can just see flying around here. She set her fastest lap time that time. She's well on the way up this climb. Torrey is now at 43 seconds. But that gap, it's nothing. And Torrey's work is staying with the lead. It will improve her legs. It's going to make her go quicker. But she's been swept up. Ibbotson in here. Just seen a massive kick from Booker, but it looks to me like it's Carly Ibbotson who's going to lead this group in pursuit of Joe Blackburn. But Blackburn is well in front. We can't see that group behind. It's 44 seconds back to the chasing group who are on to the climb.
Yeah, they're onto the climb, and Seeley is pushing 4.5 watts per kilo at the moment. Blackburn's got a 45-second gap, but we've got about 17 riders in this group behind that as Booker kicks at 9 watts per kilo. Booker's put the power down, but there's other people are turning orange as well here as Soden goes as well.
So here we go. Joe Blackburn takes a win. The yellow beacon does it again on the WOW DCG. Blackburn hammers the advantage home behind. Let's jump back. This is the race for second place. We've got a power up in for Soden. We heard Emma saying the power was coming down. We saw jump after jump, but that gap, it's there. This is the final, what is going to be 150 metres that's coming in, and I think the tactic team are going to take away a second, but we're seeing a kick come from Fletcher. Fletcher's putting out nearly 8 watts per kilo. Can she get Soden? Soden's going to take second place for the tactic team. It's going to be Tiff Fletcher coming in behind. Then it's going to be Fiona Booker.
Then it's Seeley. Seeley comes through next, and then we've got Soden, and then we've got Tracy Fletcher coming through there too. Ibbotson, Foxy. The group are just coming through now, and Torrey coming in as well, who hung out until those final stages.
Well, everybody giving it absolutely everything. Ursula Jordan in over the line, people in pieces all over the place. I think Torrey's just absolutely died on her knees there. Lindsay Clark coming through. Great ride by Lindsay there in until that final kick into the line. Just starting to turn those legs round, and you can see what it's meant for people. The riders, I mean, there's hardly anything left in those legs. Good ride by Abby Scales, yo-yoing a couple of times, but really digging in deep, staying with that group there.
Yeah, really good effort and a really good strong finish pace as well, coming through up this climb towards that finish today.
So it is the last of that lead group. Abby Scales coming in, doing a great ride here today, coming up into the finish. So good riding by Abby and all of our riders who finished so far. And out on the course, we've seen some great performances as well. And you can see that last 150 metres, it's nice and short, this kick, actually, to the line up here. I like 150 metre sprints. Shorter the better.
I'm not sure it feels very short when you are coming up the end of it for your final lap. But you're right, Scales putting in a really good finish there and a strong climb to finish too.
So let's take a run back into that chasing group now. This group of four were working hard to try and bring them back in. Charlie, don't do that on us. We will love you on the Chaingang too much. It is Crabtree nearest to the camera. Then on the other side, you can see Smith with that red bandana back. You can see that we also have Hellowell in the blue and green. And then it's going to be Morgan in the orange at the moment. So Jane Hellowell in the blue and green, just moving up on to the shoulder there. Victoria Morgan tucked in the orange. Oh, there's the time using that burrito. Interesting move by Morgan, just starting to accelerate up. She's put the draft in there. They can't get any draft. What a move.
And that is how you use a burrito. Absolutely perfect timing by Morgan there.
So good running by Morgan, followed by Smith, Hellywell and Crabtree, who couldn't do anything in terms of taking that draft. It negated all of the draft out there. Amazing to see them in action. As Pip Morn, I think, just moving ahead there of Porter James as we come on to the climb.
Yeah, indeed. So Morn and then Porter James and then Barnes, all within around 10 seconds of each other, now coming up and through on this final climb.
So Pip Morn ahead of Becky Porter James. It's going to be Morn who's going to go up and through the line. Beacon's just watching on. Joe just saying perfect power perfection, fantastic. So here we go. I love it. Izzy Torres coming.
never stop chasing Joe, Izzy, because one day you will catch her.
And beat her. And that'll be the day when you make it stick as well. Every time you do it, it makes a difference. So good rise by Daisy Barnes chasing Becky and Pip in and through the line ahead of Michelle Ross here, who's going to be our next finisher. So Michelle going to be in and underneath the gantry, which is now behind her, in ahead of our next riders out on the course, and that is going to be Carly Pastore, who is up on to the climb. Emma, I thought that was a very, very interesting ride there, and really interesting move by Izzy to stay with him. And you were just saying there that she needs to keep on pushing like that.
Yeah. You know, because you have to try and ride and try and go and cover the attacks, because the more you try, the more effort you make, the more you are training your body to respond to those types of efforts, and eventually you will get there and it will stick. You know, Izzy's worked her socks off tonight, and I know she rode the time trial last night and had a hard effort last night as well. She's had 2 hard efforts in a row. But, the decision to go is the right decision, because, you keep on trying, and then one day you will do it.
Definitely, and we saw lots of comments about people turning themselves inside out on that climb. And no surprises, really, on that final. It is a brutal finish, finishing up at the top of the hill. And it definitely changes the dynamic of that same course, which we use Champs-Élysées with both finishes.
Yeah, I like that course both way round, because it does do something very different. And but finishing on that sprint effort at the Green Banner, on that slight uphill drag, it's not particularly steep, but boy, your legs really feel it.
They certainly do. Raced on this course a few times. I think it's particularly brutal. And that underpass is not to be underestimated. It is a really, really nasty little kick. And you can guarantee somebody's going to squeeze there, and you're going to have to respond.
Yeah, there are a number of little places that you can push on here, and they do make a big difference. But that underpass is indeed one of them, and then the climb being the other. And I often think going over the top of the climb and around the Arc de Triomphe at the top, actually, if you push on at the top of the climb, you can really make a big effort around that Arc de Triomphe before you hit that downhill run. But we saw with some of the bigger groups tonight that the ability to catch on that downhill run, because that really picks up pace.
It does indeed. Let's jump back into our ride as Carly approaches that green banner at the moment. So going to be Carly, our next rider coming in. She's just ahead of Laura Pieroni, who is not all that far behind. I think it's only a few seconds between them, but Carly is going to be the next rider who comes in to the finish. So Carly keeping those revs nice and high, 85 revs per minute. Last push in, then time to ease off for the run for the blue. So Carly in and through the line, and behind comes Laura on the way up. So Laura Pieroni, nice job by Laura, continuing to push up and through the green finish line. Great riding by that pair, and not very far behind our leaders there.
No, not indeed. And those two have pretty much stayed together, though not quite together. The same gap between them for the last lap or so. But their riders now have got a 2.8k warm down until the blue end event banner.
They have indeed now. Our red beacon up on to the finishing straight as well here. You can just see Miss Cookie and our red beacon, Maz Hevron, going underneath the orange banner. Two riders we've had the pleasure of riding with in real life, as well as going out and watching them in the virtual world as well, pretty regularly in there. Gotta say, the bus is a fun place to be in that it's there for everybody, isn't it? It's there whether you've been racing hard, whether you're recovering, if you've had a hard effort, if you just had a hard day at work, you just want to get off the back and just have a chat.
Exactly, and if you just want to spin your legs out, as we've always said, there is something for everybody on the WOW DCG. Whether that's whether you just want a bit of a spin, you want a bit of a chat, you want to enjoy the social camaraderie of the group, or whether you actually want a really hard workout and you want to give it a really big effort for 20 minutes or so.
Indeed, and gotta say, the Red Beacon's job is a tough one, making sure everybody gets round. It can often involve chasing back on again. Don't forget, of course, if you want to be a beacon, if you want to go help us put on the Chaingang, then don't forget, of course, to jump on the gang. Get in touch with Emma if you want to be a red or a yellow beacon on the WOW DCG, with Gail if you want to be a red on the DCG. And don't forget, of course, you can always join the Donny Chaingang Support Club, the DCG gang, where this month, in Velaskin month, we have an amazing giveaway. A year's supply, not quite sure it's enough to bathe in, but it's got to be pretty close, of Velaskin chamois cream. So a year's supply of chamois cream, plus bidons and, of course, caps as well, going out to the roses, and truffle packs as well. So a huge prize worth hundreds and hundreds of pounds going out to one lucky member. That's going to be during next week. We're going to be doing that giveaway, and hopefully we're going to see one of our riders in absolute comfort for the next year.
Yeah, and it will be. You can't beat some Velaskin products, and not just their chamois cream. I'm rather a big fan of their soothing gel.
Indeed, makes a huge difference post hard ride, or if you've been doing a strength training session or similar. And of course, the moisturiser as well, really important this time of year, because if you're going out and you're riding, the temperature is really cold. You've got to look after yourself. If your body's busy healing anything, doesn't matter whether it's anything from broken tooth to your skin not being looked after. If your body's too busy healing, it's not training as effectively as it could do.
Yeah, but you know, the other thing to make a note of is, as someone commented at the front of the show, they also do shaving cream.
They do.
But Maz and Cookie are indeed coming up to the brow of this hill, and the green banner is indeed in front of them, signifying the end of the ride. So coming over the green banner now, both Maz and Cookie. Well done, everybody. Everybody now through that green line and on the warm down to the blue event banner.
So great stuff. Thank you very much to Miss Cookie. And of course, to our Red Beacon, the Aeonian team, looking after lots of the duties on here. And Maz doing sterling work as always. And lucky to have their support on the away round. So as our Red Beacon starts to make the way down in towards that event banner and in towards the blue banner here today, I've got to say a massive thank you to everybody who has been in on the gang. Emma, it's been an absolutely cracking ride tonight. I know you're going to be looking forward to next week. Off the top of your head, and we haven't prepped this at all, can you remember where we are next week?
Can I remember where we are next week? I think I can't. I think it might be Flatlands in Macquarie Island, but I am not sure. Don't quote me on it.
Well, you'll have to jump on the gang and find out. Make sure you do so. Don't forget, you know exactly where I'm going to be. In the studio once again with the show, bringing you the WoW DCG. Don't forget, of course, you can catch up with us soon. Emma, where can we find you on social media?
Yeah, if you want to get in contact with Biking Emma on Instagram, or you can find me at Emma Martin on Facebook.
Well, thank you very much, Emma. We're going to let you go do more copious notes, no doubt, about all of our riders.
Goodbye.
So, Emma, now we're going to be furiously note-taking in the background. You can see Maz and Cookie just over there, actually, technically. Going to be making sure that they get themselves into the warm down done and into that blue banner. And that means that it's time also for me to say goodbye. If we can get to the right screens, it will happen eventually. Somewhere we've got so many screens on the go. It is quite crazy at the moment. And so we are going to get ourselves into the right one. It is buried deep in here. So let's get ourselves up to the key, people. If you're a member of the DCG gang, you get extra benefits. You get the bonuses of being looked after by the guys who are up there. Now, see, do it right. Up over that side. Massive thank you to OTE, to Gritty, to Halo, to Nonnas, to 1080, and of course to Velaskin, who look after all of our riders. It is Velaskin month this time around. 20% discount on Velaskin as well as Gritty, OTE. Amazing discounts from 1080, getting looked after by everybody. So please do join if you can help us keep the show on the road. You can catch up with me tomorrow. That's going to be on the Donny Chaingang coverage, same place you're watching this. Don't forget, of course, at the weekend, Emma will be on duty on the Sunday Race Club on esports. I'll be doing the men's race, and we'll be doing the men's and the women's. I'll also be covering the UCI World Feed for the UCI, for the governing body that is coming from a brand new course down in Benidorm. I'll be in the studio. The riders will be in on the sand. Looking forward to putting words to action on that. So from me, from Emma, from Joe Blackburn, our amazing Yellow Beacon who took the win, and Maz doing Red Beacon duties. Keep yourself safe. Enjoy your bike riding. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.